Most people believe ancient humans died around age 30. That number shows up in textbooks, documentaries, and conversations meant to prove modern medicine turned 40 into the new immortality. But it doesn't mean a healthy 30-year-old hit some biological deadline and simply stopped working. It means something else. It means babies died, in huge numbers. Picture 10 people born into one ancient community. Several die in infancy or early childhood. One dies from an infected cut at 23. Another survives childbirth several times and reaches 50. Two more live into their 60s. One becomes the cranky 70-year-old who remembers every trail and how much better tools used to be made. Average those deaths together, and the number lands near 30. But no individual actually died at the average. It's mathematically correct and completely misleading at once. So when did most ancient adults die? Death gathered at both ends of life. The most dangerous years were almost always the first ones, not the middle. Survive childhood, and the odds improved fast. Reach adulthood, and dying in your 30s was possible, but it was never the normal schedule people imagine today. Among well-studied hunter-gatherer groups, adult deaths clustered most around the late 60s or early 70s, not 30. Ancient life wasn't short because everyone quietly gave up at 30. It was short because reaching old age was never guaranteed. Three numbers get mashed together constantly, and they need pulling apart. Life expectancy at birth is the average years a newborn would live under a population's usual conditions. Lifespan means how long one person actually lived, or the maximum age a species can reach. The modal age at death is the age where deaths cluster most. The true peak of the curve. If infant mortality runs high, life expectancy at birth looks tiny, even while plenty of adults reach their 60s easily. Modern societies push death toward old age, so the average and the peak sit close together now. Ancient societies spread death across the whole life course, weighted heavily toward the beginning. Take a simple example. Two siblings are born. One dies at age 2, the other lives to 70. Their average age at death is 36. Neither sibling actually died at 36. Now stretch that across an entire community. Add stillbirths, childhood disease, accidents, and young mothers lost during childbirth, alongside elders reaching 60 or 70. The final average settles in the low 30s while describing almost nobody's real experience. Research comparing hunter-gatherer and small farming populations placed life expectancy at birth broadly around the low 30s, with real variation. That's where the famous number comes from. Separate childhood mortality from adult mortality, though, and a different picture appears. Roughly 60% of newborns survive to age 15 across the populations studied. Adult deaths clustered most around 72, ranging from the high 60s to high 70s depending on the group. That doesn't mean every prehistoric population matched exactly. Modern foragers live inside modern politics, markets, and disease environments ancient humans never faced. Still, the comparison wrecks the cartoon version of prehistory. Human bodies were never built to collapse at 30. Our species carries a real capacity for long adult life. That capacity existed long before hospitals, antibiotics, or retirement commercials with suspiciously clean bicycles. Real danger came first, starting with birth itself. Human childbirth is unusually hard because babies carry large heads through a narrow, curved birth canal shaped by walking upright. Without surgery or emergency care, labor could turn deadly fast. Labor could stall. A baby could sit positioned badly in the womb. Mothers could bleed heavily or develop infections after delivery. This doesn't mean ancient people were helpless. They had skilled birth attendants, generations of practical knowledge, and supportive relatives. They just lacked tools to fix every emergency birth could throw at them. The first month brought fresh danger too. Newborn immune systems are weak, and infants carry almost no spare energy to fight illness. A mild infection an adult shrugs off could overwhelm an infant fast. Diarrhea drained fluids from a body with zero reserve. Trouble nursing could quietly become dehydration within days. Infancy stayed dangerous well past the newborn stage. Contaminated water, parasites, burns, and animal bites posed constant threats. Weaning made things riskier, since children ate shared food right when they became mobile enough to explore fire, cliffs, and deep water alone. Toddlers have always been remarkably talented at outsmarting supervision. This is why ancient mortality formed a U-shape. Risk was brutal at the start. dropped through childhood and early adulthood, then climbed again as bodies aged. The middle of life was never perfectly safe, but it was far safer than the beginning, and that gap is exactly what the misleading average hides. Once someone survived their teenage years, everything changed. Across several hunter-gatherer groups, a 15-year-old could expect, on average, to live into their early or middle 50s. That still sounds young, but it blends people who died at 20 with people who lived past 70. The modal age, 72, tells a different story. It isn't everyone's guaranteed fate. It's simply the age where adult deaths clustered most once the dangerous early years were survived. That number sits close enough to modern old age to feel surprising. This long adult life sets humans apart from other great apes. Wild chimpanzees rarely reach ages humans commonly achieve. Researchers believe cooperation, food sharing, childcare, and the value older group members provided reshaped human survival over thousands of years. Age brings decline, but it also brings value younger bodies can't offer. An older hunter may move slower, yet still remember where animals gather during drought, or which paths stay safe. Knowledge stayed useful long after speed and strength faded. Grandmothers sit at the center of theories explaining human longevity. Free from raising more children themselves, they could support daughters and grandchildren directly, boosting survival across generations. No single explanation covers every detail, but this idea helps explain why long life mattered. So why do ancient skeletons often look surprisingly young? Because bones make unreliable witnesses. Scientists estimate age using teeth, joints, and bone wear instead of birth certificates. These methods work well for children, since teeth erupt in a predictable order, but grow far less reliable once someone reaches adulthood. Two people the same age can show completely different wear depending on diet, injury, pregnancy, and years of labor. Preservation adds another problem. Infant bones are small, fragile, and easily lost to soil and scavengers. Some cultures buried babies differently than adults, or skipped formal burial for infants entirely. Mobile hunter-gatherer groups didn't always use formal cemeteries either, since people died while traveling or moving between seasonal camps. What archaeologists dig up is never the full population. It's a small, filtered slice of whoever happened to be buried, survive underground, and later get discovered by researchers. So what actually killed most adults before modern medicine? Usually infection, more than any other cause. A small cut could turn into a spreading, untreatable illness without antibiotics. Pneumonia, dental abscesses, and gut disease took a steady toll. Accidents mattered too, from hunting injuries to falls and drowning during river crossings. Violence played a role as well, though it varied wildly between groups and time periods. Farming didn't automatically make life safer either. Many early farming communities got sicker after settling down permanently. Crowded settlements spread disease faster between people and animals living in close quarters together. Diets narrowed around a few staple crops, making crop failure more devastating. Farming could support larger populations overall, but individual bodies often paid the price through worse nutrition and harder labor. So what age did most ancient humans really die at? It depends entirely on which question you're asking about their lives. Early childhood carried by far the greatest danger of any life stage humans ever faced. Adults who survived it often lived on into their 50s, 60s, or 70s. Ancient life wasn't short because everyone mysteriously collapsed at 30 like clockwork. It was short because reaching old age was never guaranteed, only earned through survival. Somewhere between infancy, disease, accident, and old age itself, real people lived real full lives. No single average number could ever properly capture that. Ancient humans didn't usually die simply because they reached 30. They died because something happened at 3, at 23, at 47, or at 70 on any given day.